Hi, everyone, and welcome to this episode of our podcast series, where we help our listeners improve their English skills through interesting and practical topics. I'm your host, Alex, and today we have a special guest with us, Amy, a successful entrepreneur and an expert in time management and planning. Welcome, Amy. Thanks for accepting our invitation.
Hi, Alex. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Great to have you. Today, we're going to talk about a very important topic: time management and planning. Many of our listeners struggle with managing their time and planning their activities. Let's start with some common challenges. Amy, what do you think are the biggest challenges people face when it comes to time management?
Well, Alex, I believe one of the biggest challenges is procrastination. This is when people delay or postpone tasks that they need to do. It can be really hard to stay motivated and focused, especially when the task seems difficult or overwhelming.
Absolutely. Procrastination can really affect productivity. Another challenge is not having a clear plan. Many people don't write down their tasks or set priorities, so they end up feeling overwhelmed, feeling an urge to escape from it, right?
That's right. Without a clear plan, it's easy to lose track of what needs to be done and postpone what you need to do at the moment. And sometimes people take on too much at once, which can lead to burnout. They try to juggle too many responsibilities and end up feeling stressed and exhausted.
So true. Now let's talk about some solutions. What are some effective strategies for overcoming these challenges?
One effective strategy is to use a to-do list. Writing down your tasks for the day can help you stay organized and focused. Make sure to prioritize your tasks, starting with the most important and urgent ones.
That's a great tip. Lists can really help keep track of what needs to be done. Another useful tool is a planner or a calendar. Scheduling your tasks and setting deadlines can help us manage your time better.
Yes, planners and calendars are excellent tools. And if you prefer digital tools, I believe there are many apps available that can help you organize your tasks and set reminders. Interestingly, many apps are provided and are very popular and easy to use. They can help you keep track of your tasks and deadlines, and some even allow you to collaborate with others.
Those are fantastic recommendations. I believe another strategy is to break down large tasks into smaller, more manageable steps. This can make big projects feel less overwhelming. For example, if you have to write a report, you can break it down into research, outlining, writing, and editing. What do you think?
Exactly. Breaking tasks into smaller steps can make them more manageable and easier to complete. It's also important to set realistic goals and not to overcommit. Setting SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound, can help with this.
Definitely, it's better to focus on a few important tasks rather than trying to do too much at once. Now, let's dive a bit deeper into some of the specific challenges people face with time management and planning. One common issue is the lack of a clear goal. Without knowing what you want to achieve, it's hard to manage your time effectively. What are your thoughts on this?
You're absolutely right, Alex. Without clear goals, it's easy to drift from task to task without a sense of direction. This is why setting SMART goals is so important. For example, instead of a vague goal like, I want to get fit, a SMART goal would be, I will exercise for 30 minutes 5 days a week for the next 3 months. The SMART approach makes it easier to achieve and also somehow measures how successful we were in planning and achieving goals.
That makes sense. Having a clear, specific goal gives you something concrete to work towards. Another challenge, as you might also notice, is dealing with interruptions and distractions. How can people manage these effectively?
Distractions can be a big problem. One strategy is to create a dedicated workspace where you can focus without interruptions. If you're working from home, let your family or housemates know your work hours and ask them to respect that time. Also, consider turning off notifications on your phone and computer during focused work periods. While phones and technology make it convenient to plan and manage tasks, they sometimes might be a barrier and cause of distraction.
Good advice. Distractions can really eat into your productivity. What about people who struggle with saying no? Sometimes taking on too many commitments can lead to poor time management.
That's another common issue. Learning to say no is crucial for effective time management. It's important to understand your limits and not overcommit. If you're already busy, it's okay to decline additional tasks or delegate them if possible. Politely explaining your current workload can help others understand your situation. It's important when to say yes and when to say no, and sometimes it's hard to decide. Prioritizing might help in these situations.
That's a great point. Prioritizing is key. Now let's discuss another challenge, maintaining motivation. It's easy to start off strong but lose momentum over time. What strategies can help maintain motivation?
Maintaining motivation can be tough, especially for long term projects. This is what I and many other entrepreneurs have faced in our business life. One strategy is to set smaller milestones along the way. Celebrate these small victories to keep yourself motivated. Additionally, mixing up your tasks can prevent monotony. If you're feeling stuck, take a short break or switch to a different task to refresh your mind. Personally, I journal sometimes. Journaling and writing my current challenges help me to have a clearer vision of where I stand. And also, when I feel less motivated, going through my journal and seeing previous challenges that are overcome motivates me and is a huge help when feeling down or less motivated.
Those are excellent strategies. Celebrating small wins can really boost your morale. Let's talk about another important aspect, time management tools. You mentioned some apps earlier. Can you elaborate on how these tools can be integrated into daily routines?
Sure, there are many apps with great user experience. They are fundamentally somehow similar to each other, and choosing the right app is a personal decision. Once you find a suitable app, you can use the app to block out time for specific tasks and set reminders. You can categorize your activities such as meetings and tasks. These apps are a great tool because we can have these with us everywhere, and when we have time, we can take a look at our plan and be ready for the rest of the day.
That's very practical. Using these tools can definitely make managing tasks easier. Another tool people might not think of is setting timers. Can you talk about how using timers can help with time management?
Absolutely. Timers can be very effective, especially with techniques like the Pomodoro technique. Setting a timer for 25 minutes of focused work followed by a 5-minute break can help maintain concentration and prevent burnout. It creates a sense of urgency and helps you stay on task, knowing you have a break coming up.
The Pomodoro technique is definitely popular. Thanks for explaining. It might seem simple, but it's wonderfully effective. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about planning. How does effective planning contribute to better time management?
Effective planning is essential for good time management because it provides a roadmap for your tasks and goals. By planning your day, week, or month in advance, you can allocate time for each task, set priorities, and ensure that nothing important is overlooked. Planning also helps you anticipate potential challenges and prepare for them, making it easier to stay on track.
Planning ahead certainly makes a difference. Can you share some tips for effective planning?
Sure. Start by setting clear goals. Then, break these goals down into smaller, manageable tasks. Use a planner or digital calendar, as we discussed, to schedule these tasks and set deadlines. Review your plan regularly and adjust it as needed. Also, make sure to allocate time for breaks and leisure activities to maintain a healthy balance.
Great tips. Reviewing and adjusting plans is crucial because things don't always go as expected. What about long-term planning? How can people effectively plan for long-term goals?
Long-term planning involves setting goals that span over months or years. Start by identifying your long-term goals and then break them down into smaller, short-term goals. Create a timeline for these goals and regularly review your progress. It's important to stay flexible and adjust your plans as circumstances change. For example, if your long-term goal is to learn a new language, you can set short-term goals like completing a language course or practicing daily for 30 minutes. It's important to remember the SMART approach here.
Always looking long run and breaking projects into manageable tasks are definitely important for long term benefits. Now let's address the challenge of maintaining a work life balance. What strategies can help achieve this balance?
Achieving work-life balance requires setting clear boundaries between work and personal time. Make sure to schedule time for family, hobbies, and relaxation in your planner. Avoid overcommitting to work tasks and learn to delegate when possible. It's also important to take regular breaks throughout.
I've heard of that too. It can really help maintain focus and prevent burnout. Well, thank you so much for all these wonderful tips, Amy. Do you have any final advice for our listeners?
My final advice is to find a time management system that works for you and stick with it. Consistency is key, and it's important to remember that it's okay to adjust our plans as needed. Flexibility is important too. It is also important to remember that the actual way to success is not linear. Some days might be less productive, or unexpected events prevent us from executing our plans. What really matters is to stay dedicated to the plans and try to constantly improve. It really feels good to see you are better and more capable than yesterday, even a little bit. And it's good that the listeners do their research and read about time management. Different people might have different experiences, and not all tips can be applied to all people.
Excellent advice. Thank you again, Amy, for joining us today and sharing your expertise.
Thank you, Alex. It was a pleasure being here.
Thanks, Amy, and thank you to all our listeners. We hope you found today's episode helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and check out our YouTube channel for more life tips and learning English along the way. Until next time, take care.